Hello, I'm Merely Rosine Beasley, and today I want to tell you a couple of things before I get started. Here is my dog Dallas. He is a rescue dog. I adopted him a few months ago. Anyway, I want to mention a couple of things that I did early today. One of them is I made some little miniature kind of miniature quiche items. They were with eggs and I had some ham, some onion, and some cheese, and I mixed those up and they were quite delicious, and I've done many things like that before. Also, I've noticed in my garden lately where I've been adding clippings, grass clippings, and all kinds of produce from whatever is left over after I fix meals. I've been putting them in my garden and I've been checking, and I see a lot of life. I see some earthworms that are making that soil very healthy, and so soon I'll be out there taking that and putting it on my other gardens. Anyway, I want to encourage you to always think about what you personally can do to make the earth and the soil better. Anyway, on a more serious note, I want to talk about the coronavirus. For those of you who are not aware, I am a registered nurse. I've been a public health nurse since 1991. I have been on the front lines. I've worked for the Harris County Health Department. I was a nursing instructor for over 8 years for Harris Health, which is Ben Taub LBJ here in the Houston area. And I have been a school nurse for 6 years. I worked for Houston ISD for 3 years. I was at a charter school when it opened up. So I think I know a little bit about being on the front lines. I know a little bit about respiratory illnesses. And I want to inform the public that there are a few things that I would recommend for them to consider. One of them is for you to realize that this is a respiratory type illness. It shares many characteristics that are like TB, which I've done some analysis of active TB cases. It is somewhat similar to the flu in that it's respiratory. And if I were able to personally talk to President Trump, I would recommend that everybody go outdoors as much as possible. In fact, I would recommend that everybody go camping for 2 to 3 months until all of this is over with, and be out in the great outdoors, because air and sunlight are amazing. And since this is respiratory, most likely all of those germs will be gone out in the air and the sunlight. So I want to encourage everybody to go outdoors as much as possible. If I were asked, I would suggest that everybody have church services outside in the park, in the parking lot, wherever you can be outdoors. If you do that, then there's less likely chances of transmitting this illness to each other. It is respiratory, which means that there's droplets in the air, and the air and sunlight will take care of most of that. I do recommend to eat very healthy. I recommend that you wash your hands frequently. I recommend that you also brush your teeth at least twice a day, and the reason is that will reduce the chance of infection of your gums, which can be a big problem. So these are things that everybody can do for themselves. I don't understand why people think that they can eat food that's not very healthy, eat a lot of junk food, and then wonder why their bodies don't work better than they do. So please go outside to the beach, go to the park, go outdoors, go in the backyard, garden, whatever you need to do to be outdoors. There's a lot of activities that people can do. I've noticed a lot of people riding their bikes lately around in my neighborhood. Unfortunately, the city of Jersey Village, the city councilman decided that they needed to close the parks in my neighborhood, which doesn't make sense to me. I did notice over the Easter holiday that the city of Houston decided to keep their parks open. So whatever we can do to be out in the outdoors, I want to highly recommend. Now, I also want to recommend that everybody consider writing or calling the president. Now, there is a comment line. I looked it up on the internet, and you can double check it. The comment line is 202-456-1111. There's also whitehouse.gov, and I did send an email to the president on March 22nd. I've also used Twitter to contact the president because I'm determined that he be aware that I am a public health nurse, and I don't agree with all of keeping everybody indoors. I don't agree with staying home and being indoors. And if I were asked, I would suggest that the president ask everybody at the hospitals to take the patients outside, put them on cots, put them under those little tiny little pavilions you see where families that go to the ball games, they go to the beach, they go to the parks, those small little pavilions, get everybody out in the open air. One of the things I know from having worked in a hospital setting is that there are very dangerous germs that are in hospitals these days, in modern hospitals. Now, I did send an email to Senator Cruz, who actually lived in Jersey Village many years ago when he was in high school. I did send him an email the other day, and that was acknowledged. Now, I did look up John Cornyn, because he's the other senator from Texas, and I got a phone number for his Houston office. So if I were to call John Cornyn today, I would call this number, 713-572-3337. Now, these are numbers, this is information that I personally got on the internet today, looked them up. There would be other ways for you to find out this information. So I recommend that everybody write to the leadership of your city, your county, your state, and the federal government. I think that it is a time for us to encourage the leadership like President Trump. I think it's time to encourage President Trump to get the country to go back to work, get the kids back into school if at all possible. I have been making YouTube videos for several weeks because I'm a certified school teacher, besides being a registered nurse, and I worked as a school nurse for 6 years in the elementary setting. That is my thing that I like to do. And so I want to encourage everybody to please contact your leadership. Please, they work for us. Please speak up, because right now our economy is crippled, and I don't think that helps anybody. When I go out to restaurants to pick up my food, the restaurants look like ghost towns. When I go to other places, there's hardly anybody on the road, and I find this very sad. I do not think this is helpful for our economy. So please, please, find your voice, contact your local, your state representative, whoever you need to do to contact them. Please look them up on the internet, send an email, give them a phone call, write them a letter, whatever you need to do. Please, it's time for us to have everybody get back to work and do something more positive with our country. Thank you.